What's happening, everybody? Greg Ehrenberg here from Stokastic.com, and about to be walking through tonight's No Outs Advantage Pick'em contest and some of the best plays that we have projected over at Stokastic.com. And our projections are free. And not only are projections free, we actually have a NHA lineup builder as well that's going to help you build out a bunch of NHA lineups as quickly as possible. And you can upload those directly over to No House Advantage. So check that out. Totally free tools to use, and it's going to help you and your process out a whole bunch at No House Advantage. But you know what else is going to help you? Is if you haven't signed up there yet, use the link that we have below. Because when you sign up using that link, you're going to get up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit. And that's going to really help you get started building your bankroll over at No House Advantage. So go check out the contest at NHA, and they do overlay from time to time as well, which is a kind of value that you are not going to be finding anywhere else in the industry. So let's break down some of my favorite picks for tonight's contest as well to help you build out your lineup cards. And if you guys aren't familiar with them, these are played on confidence intervals. So you build out a DFS type lineup, but with player props, and the ones you're most confident, you're going to give a 10-point score. The ones you're least confident, you give a 1-point score. And then at the end of the night, your points get tallied up, and the total points, that ends up being the score of your lineup. But let's break it down right now. These are my favorite NHA pick'em plays for the Tuesday night slate. So to start us off, let's look at one that I think we could pretty confidently put into that 10-point spot. And it is the #1 projected prop over in the projections we have over at Stokastic.com. TJ Warren under 4.5 rebounds. So Warren is going to be making his, well, I can't even call it his debut with the Suns because he was with the team in the past, but at least this year, his first game with the Suns following the Kevin Durant trade. And kind of forgotten piece of the trade because while, yes, the Suns did land Kevin Durant, TJ Warren was another piece of added depth that they got in that trade. But for his debut with the Suns this year, his over-under for rebounds is 4.5. We even projected for just 2.4. The under expected to win north of 90% of the time. By far, our best projected prop of the day. And I agree with it. If you look at the numbers for TJ Warren this year, not only has he not put up big rebounding numbers, he hasn't played a whole bunch, and he also hasn't played in a game since February 7th. So it stands to reason we're not going to be seeing extended minutes out of TJ Warren. And since December 31st, so we're talking about in every game that he's played in 2023, TJ Warren has only had one game with 5 or more rebounds, and that came all the way back on January 17th against the Spurs. And in that game also, he only played 24 minutes. So this is not a guy who's been a prolific rebounder this year. He's not playing big minutes. I really do like the under on the 4.5 rebounds. The next player I'm looking at, it's another under. This is on Cole Anthony for his points plus rebounds plus assists. The over-under for him on NHA is 21.5. We have him for only 14.5 in our projections. So the under expected to win 86% of the time in our numbers. But one thing to note here, make sure that Cole Anthony's playing. He's officially listed as questionable on the injury report, and you could only play active players in your NHA lineups. Even if you take somebody who's injured and is out, it doesn't mean they're under wins. You have to take players who are active. But if Cole Anthony does end up playing, this is a number that is way too high. Like I said, we have it projected for just 14.5. And the issue with Cole Anthony right now is that this Orlando Magic team just has so much depth. They have so many guards to go to that it's hard to really carve out big minutes for anybody. Cole Anthony recently has been playing right around 20 minutes per game. You look at his last handful of games, 20 minutes, 24 minutes, 21 minutes, 20 minutes. And it just makes it really hard for him to put up very many counting stats. And it's because look at all these guards they have to go to now. They've got Markelle Fultz. They've got Cole Anthony. They've got Jalen Suggs. They've got Gary Harris playing minutes. And then they've got other guys as well in the front court that could play some guard minutes like Franz Wagner that also are just cutting into the playing time for Cole Anthony. The Orlando Magic, even though they have one of the worst records in the NBA, they're still a very talented team, and they're very, very deep. And what they're doing is they're really allocating and spreading out their minutes to try to develop all their players, make sure everybody gets some run and has a chance to succeed going forward. With that in mind, it's just hard to carve out a whole lot of minutes to be projected towards Cole Anthony. His unders look pretty good, particularly at points plus rebounds plus assists at under 21.5. Now, let's get an over in here too, because I think Derrick White is in an excellent spot today due to the Boston Celtics injury report. And his points prop is only 13.5. We've got him projected for nearly 20 points in our projections over at Stokastic.com. So that injury report that I mentioned for the Boston Celtics, here's what it looks like. And most notably, Jaylen Brown is out. He's dealing with a broken face. Then we got Jason Tatum doubtful to play due to an illness. In addition to that, Marcus Smart is out. He's dealing with his own injury. And so it looks like a lot of these guys probably aren't going to end up playing until after the All-Star break. But wait, there's even more. Grant Williams is questionable. Also, then we've got Robert Williams listed as questionable. So Derrick White is just going to likely have to be the guy that carries this Boston Celtics team in terms of usage and takes a lot of shots for them, which we actually did see him play a pretty substantial role in their last game out, where Derrick White had probably the best game of his entire career, and he's not going to be quite as good as he was in his last couple of games. We saw him put up 23 points against 2 games ago. We call the best game ever for Derrick White. But still, 2 really strong games in a row. 33 points against the Charlotte Hornets, where he just did everything from 3. I think just 8 of 9 from that game. And he followed that up 23 points against the Memphis Grizzlies and played over 40 minutes in that game. So considering all the players that are out for the Boston Celtics and the increased role Derrick White has played as of late, it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. I like him for over 13.5 points. Let's close out with one more over, and another player we are going to have to keep an eye on the injury report for, because our projections do like over 1.5 threes for Kyle Kuzma. We actually have him projected for 2.6. Reports have indicated that he's expected to play today. He's officially listed as questionable in the injury report, so just check back later in the day to make sure that Kyle Kuzma is active, good to go, doesn't have any kind of restrictions. As long as he does, 1.5 threes is just a low number for Kyle Kuzma. Like I said, we've got him projected for right over 2.5 threes, and this is an over that we do then have winning 73% of the time. And you look at Kyle Kuzma's numbers for the year, he's having one of the better seasons of his career, and he's really become a breakout player while he's been in Washington. He's averaging 2.5 threes made per game this season, and it's been pretty consistent over the last month. So we're talking about 9 games. He's made 2.6 threes per game, and in those games, he's actually only fallen short of making multiple threes twice. One was just a game against Portland where he didn't shoot particularly well, and then a game against the Nets where he left early due to an injury. So if we take the injury game out of the equation, it's actually only once out of his last 9 games that he's missed hitting multiple threes. So numbers pretty low here on Kyle Kuzma. He's having a good season. I like him for over 1.5 threes. So recapping these pick'em lines that I'm liking over on No House Advantage, a couple of unders. TJ Warren under 4.5 rebounds, Cole Anthony under 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, and then a couple of overs to look at. Derrick White over 13.5 points and Kyle Kuzma over 1.5 threes. So once again, the way that these props work is on a confidence interval when you're building out your DFS lineup. And the one that I'm most confident in is TJ Warren under 4.5 rebounds. I think that's one that you want in one of those higher confidence interval spots. But other than that, guys, if you have any questions for me, let me know below in the comment section. Also, before you leave, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're signing up in No House Advantage for the first time, use our link. It's going to get you up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit. Good luck tonight.